Foreign scholars often tell incorrect stories about Serbia. They don't straight lie, but they give incorrect assessment of the situation in Serbia. I will analyze one passage from the book Balkan Holocausts by Canadian scholar David Bruce MacDonald. He is talking about historical revisionism in Serbia and Croatia. He focuses on 1986-1999 era. Serbia's greatest historical enemy, the Ottoman Empire, seemed largely irrelevant in reinterpretations of Serbian history. While there was a great deal of anti-Muslim, anti-Islamic rhetoric, there were a few attacks on Turkey itself for its past occupation of the region, nor was there much anti-Ottoman propaganda. MacDonald completely ignores historical context. Ottoman Empire was officially abolished in 1922. Ottoman Empire included Balkans, Turkey, Middle East, North Africa. Turkey and Ottoman Empire shouldn't be used as synonyms. Ethnic Turks were a minority in Ottoman Empire. Serbian historians write terrible things about Ottoman Empire. I have yet to find a Serbian historian who says anything nice about Ottoman Empire. There has been no historical revisionism about Ottoman Empire in Serbia. But we are aware that Ottoman Empire is gone. We are proud of the fact that Serbs contributed to Ottoman Empire abolishment. Far-right Serbs like to exaggerate the role Serbia had in destroying Ottoman Empire. Ottoman Empire was attacked on several fronts. There were wars in Egypt and Syria. This all led to the collapse of Ottoman Empire. But far-right Serbs completely ignore this and see only Serbian-Ottoman fights as decisive. Making anti-Ottoman propaganda in 1990s would be stupid. Ottoman Empire was gone for 70 years by then. Current relations between Serbia and Turkey are rather good. And that's something foreigners cannot understand. Bulgarian historian Maria Todorova wrote how foreigners see Balkans as frozen in time. According to foreigners, Serbs should be burning Ottoman flags. It's funny how Serbs are often accused of living in the past, and yet we are criticized for moving forward from the past. One cannot please the world. Other traditional enemies, such as Bulgaria, a constant threat during the first half of the 20th century and a key mover and shaker during the Balkan Wars, were consigned to obscurity. Just to avoid confusion, he is talking about Balkan Wars 1912-1913. Some foreigners like to use the name Balkan Wars for the 1990s conflicts. They should be called Yugoslav Wars because no Balkan country outside Yugoslavia was involved. During the 1990s, Bulgaria was not a threat to Serbs. Bulgaria was going through transition from communism. They had no money or strength to fight Serbs in the 1990s. Average Serbs see Bulgarians as backstabbers. Bulgarians invaded Serbia in World War I and World War II. Both times they committed terrible atrocities. We are talking about killings, tortures, rapes, burning houses. Serbian historians do not write positive things about Bulgaria or Bulgarians. Far-right Serbs tend to ignore Bulgarians. Current relations between Serbia and Bulgaria are not close, but they are not particularly bad. Decent number of Serbs go on summer holidays in Bulgaria. Even German and Italian invasion was seen as facilitator of Serbian and Croatian genocide, with collaboration often seen to be worse than the crimes either of these invading countries had perpetrated in the region. I will start with Italians. In World War I, Serbia and Italy were on the same side. Serbs and Italians had no historical rivalry. Italians and Croats have problem with Adriatic coastline. Both claim it as their own. If you want to start a bar fight between Italians and Croats, just ask them to whom town Trieste belongs. During World War II, Italians occupied parts of Serbia. They were less violent than Germans or Bulgarians. There is no reason for Serbs to have anti-Italian propaganda. Serbs are often depicted as irrational, but we always had reason to hate someone. We have no reason to hate Italians. There is strong anti-Vatican propaganda in Serbia. But Vatican is not seen as Italian. Balkan nations, including Serbs, love conspiracy theories, and they often include Vatican and Catholic Pope. Germans are still disliked in Serbia. There is no historical revisionism about Germans in Serbia. Germans are seen as cold and cruel Nazi. The World War II in Yugoslavia was actually a three-way civil war between Ustaše, partisans and Chetniks. Germans were side characters in the drama. However, Germans are hated for Kragujevac massacre. The Kragujevac massacre was the mass murder of between 2,778 and 2,794 mostly Serb men and boys in Kragujevac by German soldiers on 21 October 1941. Decades after the war, cars with German plates were stoned in Kragujevac. Anyone speaking German was beaten. Germans were advised to avoid going to Kragujevac. Anti-German propaganda is not needed because they are already known villains. When I read about World War II crimes in Yugoslavia, the collaborators were worse than invaders. Many used the war as the opportunity to solve their problems. The World War II Nazi puppet state Croatia included whole Bosnia and parts of Serbia. Serbs made 25% of the population in this state. Pro-Ustaše Croats saw this as a problem. They focused their efforts on killing, expelling and converting Serbs to Catholicism. Let's mention Banja Luka massacre, where Croat Ustaše killed Serb civilians. On 7th February 1942, an Ustaše unit led by Franciscan monk Miroslav Filipović of the Petricevac monastery in Banja Luka gathered into the villages of Drakulić, Šargovac and Motike and slaughtered some 2,300 Serbs using knives and hatchets. The victims included some 500 children. Surviving witnesses described how Filipović entered one school with a group of Ustaše and selected a Serbian girl, slaughtering her before leaving the rest of the Ustaše to kill the remaining children. This sounds much worse than Germans using guns to execute Serbs in Kragujevac. Using knives and hatchets are much worse ways to die. Filipović was kicked out of Franciscan order a few months after the massacre. He would be remembered as Brother Satan while working in Jasenovac concentration camp. After the war, Filipović was arrested, trialed and executed in 1946. MacDonald focuses on Jasenovac as part of Serbian and Croatian propaganda. Serbs are accused of inflating the number of victims in Jasenovac, while Croats are accused of downplaying the number of victims. Foreign historians believe that 80,000 people were killed in Jasenovac. Serbs would make 50,000 of those 80,000 deaths. Serbs killed in other massacres, like in Banja Luka, are not counted among Jasenovac's victims. Current estimations about Serbian World War II losses range from 200,000 to 500,000. Manufacturing a history of Serbian-Croatian rivalry was much more important, and so elements of a usable past were grafted together with pure fiction to render a completely new vision of the past. Modern scholars like to deny ancient rivalry between Serbs and Croats. But we first need to establish what is considered ancient. Some people see everything that happened before their birth as ancient. What were the relations between Serbs and Croats? Due to the lack of historical sources, we have no idea what Serbs and Croats thought about each other in early medieval times. Serbian dethroned ruler Zaharije escaped to Croatia around 924 AD. This would suggest that relations weren't bad since Zaharije sought refuge there. The Great Schism in Christian Church happened in 1054. Croat and Serbs were divided by the religion. In 19th century, relations between Serbs and Croats weren't great. Croatian far-right politician Ante Starčević started verbally attacking Serbs in 1850s. He denied Serbian history and culture and claimed that Serbs were in fact Orthodox Christian Croats. Once he described Serbs as nečista pasmina, which translates as unclean dog breed. Starčević would be given nickname Father of the Fatherland in Croatia. There are streets, public squares and schools named after Starčević in Croatia. I would say that the hate between Serbs and Croats was at least 140 years old by the time of Yugoslav wars of the 1990s. The 140 years I would describe as rather ancient. MacDonald mentions how many Croats in 19th century wanted Yugoslavia. True, but many Croats saw Yugoslavia as just temporary solution before they achieved independence. Many Croats saw Yugoslavia as shield against Italy or Hungary. By 1990s, Italy and Hungary abandoned their plans of taking Croatian land. And Croats could stop pretending they love Yugoslavia. Did some Croats genuinely love Yugoslavia? Yes, of course. Members of the same ethnic group can have different opinions. One poll revealed that 10% of Serbs want to join NATO. Yugoslavia-loving Croats are like pro-NATO Serbs. They do exist, but have no significant numbers. What do I think? Germans and French were at war countless times through history, and yet no one questions their modern friendship in EU and NATO. People like MacDonald accept the idea that France and Germany can be allied. Western scholars see Germany and France as civilized and able to change. Balkan countries are seen as barbaric and unable to change. MacDonald ignores one simple basic fact. When you are at war with someone, your propaganda will be focused on your current enemy. When they attacked Iraq in 2003, USA had no propaganda against Vietnam. Because Vietnam wasn't USA's current enemy. Of course, Serbian propaganda from 1990s was focused on current enemies. I have to notice that Yugoslav communist propaganda is still effective. MacDonald and others really believe that brotherhood and unity was real. Tito is still the king of PR.